They do all the hard work. I think we're live now.
Sick. Are we also like live on like YouTube or something?
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Right on.
There's like a stop sign above you. Not like a stop, but like a square.
Yeah.
That means stop.
Okay.
So just in case you want to know. I don't know how to get rid of that right now. Should I figure it out? I can figure it out.
What do you mean a stop? Like a
like on the like this. You see that?
Oh yeah, I don't know what the fuck that is. Is that always there though? Can they see that? I don't think they can see that.
I think they can see it. It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
Maybe this will help.
I know. I'm not too worried about it.
Okay, yeah, I know. I need to start a freaking podcast already. Okay. It's just like it was like I just built it myself, so it's like very haphazard.
Hey, dude, you're doing a fucking great job though.
Thank you.
Dude, to have a full fucking podcast studio in your place is awesome.
I know, it's so convenient.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It saves so much time because otherwise it'd be like I have to go and actually be more responsible than I actually am.
And when you have to like book out the time at a place and you have to use other people's shit and maybe someone like they're running behind, like now you're just on your schedule all the fucking time. That's the way
I
to do
know. I love how we did this podcast because we did it like in the way that it was perfect time for both of us, hopefully.
it. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was good. When you were like, you just hit me up and were like, can you do it now? And I was like, not right now. I can do it in like an hour.
Was that good?
Yeah.
I wrote. I jerked off a little bit.
Dude, sick. You got a jerk off in today? I haven't got a multiple jerk offs in today.
Because you're traveling. It's harder to jerk it.
It is harder to jerk it when you're traveling, and I'm sharing an Airbnb. We both have separate rooms, but it's like you like jerking off in like a house when like no one's there. That's the fucking greatest.
The ultimate sneak tip. You know, the low down jerk.
What did you jerk off to today?
What I came to the most recently is like a girl in her panties, just like doing panty porn.
Oh, what kind of like just like playing with her panties, like but the panties are
some dudes was she had it on, and you know it's just like the classic panties look.
And he's like jerking off into the panties?
No, he was just touching and spinning her around and looking at it. And
oh, so that's very soft core.
I know, yeah.
Wow.
Well, sometimes you never know. You know, after having been down all these rugged roads, you know, sometimes what gets you is like a little canary floating on your little beard.
That's true, dude. You never like you watch so much perverted shit. Just the you're watching like a DP anal penetration, then you're like, you know what? I just need a nice, pretty lady and some silk.
Yeah, that's all that it would have taken to get you off.
Dude, the kissing sometimes really gets me. When I just see them kiss.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, it's more intimate.
Yeah.
Like there's more of a connection rather than just some chick's face getting fucked like crazy.
Yeah.
Although I did look up some classic Sasha Grey with her just getting like throat fucked like intensely. And it was great.
Yeah, I mean, that's the next level. If you get all the basics done, you want to move on to the next thing. You don't want to just be stuck on kissing forever.
No, my buddy calls it sexual inflation, which he says you got to manage it or you can't get too deep into it. Because like once you start liking something and you're jerking off to it, you're fucking a certain way and you need that to come, then you've reached like a new level. And then if you keep going higher and higher and higher, you just need like continuously more fucked up things to come.
It's more and more divorced from reality.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like every now and again you need like silk panties just to bring you back down.
They weren't silk. They were just normal cotton panties. But yeah, I agree with that. I think it's important to be grounded. I mean, I have a new sexual partner now, and I'm just sort of just going ham on the porn and the jerking off.
Was you because you have a new sexual partner?
In spite of that.
Oh, in spite of
like I know it would probably help, but I think like I got to learn how to be in a relationship while also jerking off as much as I want.
Damn. Yeah. So you're like going in the deep end right away.
Yeah.
So are you guys exclusive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've been fucking for a while.
3 months.
Okay, so 3 months, and now you're like, we're going exclusive, and now you're like, I'm introducing porn. You're evolving what this whole relationship means to you.
Yeah, I'm evolving by devolving.
Yeah.
by going back into porn. I'm gonna do this thing where I watch porn and I have a girlfriend at the same time. It's revolutionary stuff.
How long have you been doing this for?
Like 3 months now.
Okay. Well, no, 3 months. You've been seeing her for 3 months.
Yeah.
But how long you been doing the porn and her? This whole diva evolution.
3 months.
Oh, so the porn's been there the entire
never
time.
stopped. Yeah.
So nothing's changed.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, even though it's, sometimes it's hard for me to get hard.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, I know, and it's like totally my fault. It's like, yeah, I really need to figure it out.
I like the self-awareness, though. You're self-aware that you're like, yo, I am, if I stopped watching porn, I would have a better sex life with this girl, but porn is so fucking good. And also, I'm not going to stop watching porn, so I'm just going to have to endure.
I'm going to have to find the way to have sex that will complement my porn watching, and then I'll have both.
You could watch porn with her as you fuck.
Yeah, ideally.
Or you could, you just start like using Viagra and then go even deeper in the hole. Like use Viagra to fuck even your girlfriend, and then you could be like one of those porn stars that can like only get hard with Viagra. Have you heard that pin thing that they do?
No.
They have this thing where they'll stick like a pin in their dick and it hits like a nerve or a certain thing that like forces you to get an erection.
Like a cow.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait, do they do that to cows?
Yeah, they stick a metal rod up their ass and they electrocute them and they come.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's how they like extract semen from them?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So they can just like milk the fucking cow.
Yeah.
So like that. And it forces them to get
humans.
But for humans. And dudes do this themselves all the time in the porn industry.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a point of like it's going to take a toll on you.
Oh yeah, I think being a porn star isn't all it's like. You think of like from the dude perspective, you'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna be fucking all these girls. It's great, but it's like grueling on your body physically. It's like a lot of physical work.
It's like every other work that we have. It's going to become Uberfied, and you're going to have to like get an app to do it.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
Gonna have no health care.
And it's going to be like AI, and you're easily replaced. And then you're going to, no health care. There's going to be no safety net, no pension. And then you're going to want to like protest, but then they're going to fire you, and you're going to want to unionize. It's going to get fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for... Yeah, I feel like girls might have it rough because they get a lot of stuff done to them, and then here's like $500.
Yeah.
Like, how much is that worth?
I think, but the girls make, I think, a lot more money than the dudes, unless you're doing gay stuff. Dudes doing gay stuff make like crazy money. That's like where the cash is.
Nice. Yeah, it's not a big audience, but they do buy a lot of stuff.
They do.
Gays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of that thing in your dick that you hit to get a boner. I don't think I'm there yet. I think I can just do it. It's like, I don't want to be like having sex with a person and thinking about something else.
Yeah.
When I could just be in that moment. It just seems unnecessary and inefficient.
Sometimes it's hard to get into the moment though, because sometimes you aren't in it, or you're not turned on, or you're fucking them for them, or like, I don't know, you're like, when you're on the road and stuff and you're like blown up, like you're exclusive with someone now, but there was probably a time when you were like fucking a bunch of like strangers, like constantly.
Yeah.
And like that, I've gone to a point where sometimes that feels like a little bit numb. Like I'm like, am I losing my spark?
Yeah.
That I used to love to do this, and now it's like seems like uninteresting.
Yeah, because then you're just having sex with like a body instead of who they are as a person.
Yeah, I've been like really thinking about them. You're thinking about some other person you fucked or some video you watched, and then you're almost just like, yeah, it's just like another day in the office, but you're fucking someone.
Yeah. Hopefully you're like interested enough in that process of just, being with someone, and it's new to you. Like, when was it like the perfect sweet spot?
I think it was like I think even before like I was doing all the social media stuff and that started popping and pulling in fans, I think it was when I started living on my own for the first time, and I was like, had my own space, and I could have girls kind of come over whenever, or when I first started getting popular on TikTok. That was like when it felt fucking cool. When there was like girls would just come like straight, like wouldn't even meet me before. They would just be like, hey, can I come over? And they would just come over to the place and we'd fuck, and then they would go after. That was like, I was like, this is
so
fucking
then you were
crazy.
in the moment, you were thinking like, oh, this person just came from TikTok.com.
Yeah.
And you're just like totally on board with the whole experience. Now it's like, oh, this is like a TikTok slut. I have to go to a thing at 3 p.m. The ice cream's in the fridge.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was like this past weekend, I hooked up with 5 different people this past weekend.
Yeah.
And most of it was really good, but there was a couple where I was like really out of it, and I felt like I was just doing it to do it. And I was like, oh man, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done it. Maybe I should have just gone to sleep instead. And I got a bad night's sleep because of it. And that's what I'm thinking about. Like in the moment, I'm like, what time is it? I got a shit to do in the morning. Like I'm going to get a shitty sleep and then I'm going to be tired tomorrow. And I was like, what is going on? Like this used to be the most fun thing you could do. And now it's like, I wouldn't say it feels like a chore, but it didn't feel as exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Like if you were just into that all the time, then that would take up your whole life, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it would become debilitating, like some sort of addiction or something.
Yeah, so you don't have that particular thing where it's like, oh, you just could fill yourself up totally with just that.
Yeah. I feel like I do. Do you at all feel like you have a problem with like consumption or anything like that?
What, like porn or ice cream?
Porn, drugs, booze, food.
Oh, I'm just like consuming things to feel better about myself.
Feel better about yourself, or just like dopamine pleasure, like the constant need?
Maybe with marijuana,
Yeah.
but not really, no.
I definitely feel like I'm constantly keeping like the beast at bay, whatever it is. It's like, oh, eat a bag of chips, eat some carbs, fuck this girl, go jerk off, do these drugs, have a drink. Like
do comedy.
At least comedy. I'm like, oh, I have to do this now. This is my job.
But it is sort of the same thing. It's just a more healthy outlet for it.
It is very much the same thing, like a kill. Like when you really get like when you destroy and you have all the people come up to you after, and then you go on the road and you're doing these things and your career is growing, it gives you like a huge sense of like, like a high. And I think that's the same reason people love sales. Like sales is the same kind of thing. Every time you get sales, you get like a sell when you're doing sales.
Yeah.
You fucking get a huge high off of it.
Yeah, and then you grow addicted, and then you start telling yourself, I'm the best salesman. I could sell something that a lot of people have in a place where they have a lot of it.
Yeah. And then you fucking bomb.
Yeah, and then you don't get it, and then you fail, and then you feel like you have a small dick, and you have to hurt someone.
I like how the immediate response is violence. I understand the inferiority, but the violence, I don't know, maybe sometimes the violence
That's just
comes.
the thing you have to look out for. So whenever I feel any strong emotion, I'm like, how does this turn to violence?
Yeah, true. That is true. Because it can devolve into violence. Like you're
and that's the one thing that you can do that other people will fuck with you with.
Yeah.
Like if you're just hurting yourself, then no one cares. But once you start threatening to hurt other people, like that guy on the subway.
Which guy on the subway? Oh, in the New York?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That shit was fucking crazy.
Did you see the video?
I just saw a picture.
Yeah.
And but like I mean I haven't been in New York like I left in New York on Thursday, so I've been gone the entire time of all these protests and everything like that. But
yeah, they were like, what happened? Like at first they're like, oh yeah, fuck that guy, but then they're like, wait a minute. Like it took a while for people to be like, this is fucked up.
It's fucked up, and like because it's like a homeless guy coming onto the subway in New York and being like, oh, I need money, I'm broke. That's every single fucking day. So I don't know. I haven't seen what led up to them like trying to restrain this dude or why this dude like choked him to death. But it's like fucking, and to choke a guy to death, you got to choke him for a long fucking time, man.
Yeah.
You watch MMA. Guys get choked unconscious all the time, and they get choked unconscious, and then you let go. He had to like continuously choke him after he was unconscious for him to die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like fucking with people's necks.
Yeah, no.
I have like a fragile neck myself, but yeah, I mean, you don't want to fuck, especially if you're homeless. You got whatever health issues you have been eating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your body's barely hanging on as it is.
You don't want to touch the neck. Keep your hands free of the neck.
Yeah. It's just like I don't think people are doing this in Finland. I don't think people in Finland are going out murdering each other in the subway.
No, I wonder, my whole thing with it is like, is it just like a population issue? Because you have a lot of these countries that have like better prison systems, better healthcare, better pay systems, like pensions, all these things. Is it just because America has so many fucking people, they can't afford to give these people things? Or is it just this like the huge focus on capitalism first that has like forced everyone into poverty?
Well, I think it's like a slavery outline.
Yeah.
We got the plantation owners, and all of us are the slaves.
And that was the outline from the beginning, and that's how
Yeah.
the outline has always been.
Yeah, so we don't care about each other.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole, African American population, you're allowed to just like punish and torture your own citizens.
Yeah, yeah,
Like in fucking Japan, at some point, you're like, well, they're Japanese too. There's
Yeah.
like a limit to that. And like Sweden, they're like, we're all Swedish.
Yeah.
But here it's just like, fuck them.
So they dehumanize the people because they don't feel like they have a connection to them.
Yeah.
Because there is like a wild level of that here, and it doesn't seem like to acquire the things that a lot of these other places have, like proper healthcare, proper pension plans, affordable living, all these things that help like secure your society and help people be like less violent, less addicted to drugs, safer. They should be accessible in America, but every time people try to push those agendas forward, they end up dying or like move these movements stop. Like there was Martin Luther King gets shot, Malcolm X gets shot. All these people that try to make any sort of change, it all fucking falls apart.
Yeah, it's like the fucking slave owners, I guess. It's like a crude term, but like, yeah, I mean, like the people that are in charge, whoever shot JFK, they're like, no, we want to have this society where it's just the few on top and everyone else on the bottom, and we're gonna kill anyone to make that happen.
Exactly. And I saw just a bit of it, like, and I want to be very clear on this. It was a little bit of a TikTok, so who knows how truthful this information is. But someone on TikTok was talking about how Africa is like the wealthiest country in terms of resources, has like the most minerals, most like things that we need in the West and in a lot of other countries. And anytime a leader has moved forward to try and turn that into profit for the country itself, they die or go missing or something. And it's like,
Totally.
how do you change the system? I don't know. It seems like anytime someone really does try to change it, like a JFK or something, yeah, they'll just blow your fucking head off.
Yeah. I think it's just like numbers at this point. There's so many of us and only a certain number of them.
Yeah.
They can't keep holding off this, power disparity, this imbalance.
Yeah.
Like at some point we find our level. This isn't sustainable. But yeah, I mean, I think it's shitty, and it's like they're holding us hostage and holding civilization hostage so they can be on top.
And it's not like people are asking for a lot either. People are just asking to be able to, like, I want a house to live in. Like, housing should be mandatory for like a human right. Healthcare, human right. Drinking water, food, human rights. Like these, internet, a human right. Access
Just
to
treat us
information.
like an animal in a zoo.
It's like it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. We're not asking to be like flying on private jets every single fucking day.
Yeah.
And with the amount that these people are consuming, and the perception of like what's our responsibility to, like with the pollution and all that stuff, people are like, oh, you're not recycling. It's like, dude, you're polluting 1,000 times my lifetime every day. Like, what the fuck are you're blaming this on me? But yeah, it's what the answer is I've said I think we need like a Genghis Khan type figure. Like Genghis Khan like rallied all the small tribes, all the people of the steppe against their one common enemy, because you have all these tribes that are infighting. You have like Black Lives Matter, you have cops, you have feminists, you have like fucking incels. All these are like tribes.
Yeah.
And then they're all infighting with each other when there's one common enemy that's suppressing them. And you need a central figure to put all these tribes together to be like, no, we shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting this one common enemy.
So why do you think that figure hasn't arisen? Or do you think he has in the form of Bernie Sanders and we just fucking DNC'd his ass?
Maybe that could be it. It could have been that he did arise in the form of Bernie Sanders and then it just didn't happen. I feel like there's or maybe he's still coming, or maybe he won't come, and it'll all just crumble like a Rome or something. And America will just like fall into poverty.
Well, hopefully we don't need a person. Hopefully we can just figure it out on our own without like a cult figure.
Yeah, that is true. Like you would hope that people are able to rally themselves and not rely on. It is nice to have some guidance and have someone who's able to point the way, but that people can come together and stop this like infighting, because there's so much infighting, and when you break it down, it's all economics. Like there's like race relations, all these things. It's always, you go back to like kings and queens, it's always rich versus poor. That's what it has always been, and that's what it will always will be, and that's the separation between us actually.
Right.
Like Martin Luther King, when he got assassinated, it wasn't him doing like marches to make sure black people could vote. He went to go talk at a factory about wage disparities between black and white workers and how they should all be paid the same. Once he started talking about money, that's when he got killed.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it's like money, like, oh, black people are black, so we can pay them less. You know, Mexican people, we have a different pay scale for them. It's like, oh, we're using race for economic gain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think like since it's about money, it should be easy to figure out. But they had like so many years of ancient tradition with holding up this way of being like unfair. So it's like we have so much of it ingrained in us. I think the population is really on board with it.
Yeah, and I think they use like small little tactics to make it seem like there's some sort of difference between us, like abortion laws or whatever it is. They'll be like, oh, and then that divides the people. Then we have the division between the small tribes. When we realize like this one small issue, there isn't some sort of compromise we can find in between it, which I do think like the state by state thing, it can be some form of a compromise to at least stop people from fighting with each other. Although I'm definitely pro-choice on all those things.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that we're divided and all that, and economics. Yeah, I think it's like a lot of it is with money. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Does your podcast normally get this serious off the top?
Yeah, usually I'm the only one doing it.
Right on, awesome.
But yeah, I think it's crazy that there's like just so many greedy people. Like it's just like 5 or 7 of them.
It's insane. It's insane that it's like when is it enough? How much do you need? And it's like to do some shit like Jeff Bezos going to space for like 5 minutes, like spending billions of dollars on something like that. It's like it not that should be like illegal, but like should there be some sort of taxation on it that forces, if you're going to spend frivolously on something that useless, that other people have to benefit. Someone, like a large group of people, if you're spending billions of dollars to go to space, then a large group of people need to benefit off of billions of dollars worth of like clean drinking water, easy access to food, education centers, things that make your neighborhood safer and cleaner. Like, I don't know. And there's all these things like the war on drugs too, that has been proven to like make countries more dangerous. You have places like Portugal that have legalized all of drugs, and now they're a recovery rate from addiction is like way higher than any other country. They have like a 55% success rate in addictions or something. And in Canada, it's like 3% in recovery. Now, I don't know if someone is in chat and knows I'm completely wrong. You can fucking rip me up in the comments or whatever the fuck. We see the benefit in a lot of these things in factual data. Like we've seen, like universal basic income helps people go less hospital visits. They actually tend to work harder because they're not worried about minute things. They're not doing like a shitty 9 to 5 that just helps them scrape by. We know that legalizing drugs reduces crime, increases safety, reduces addictions, helps people get off of drugs. All these things are better with the way our brains are wired seem counterintuitive, but the facts are there that show that they actually work, but we still don't do them based on of people's reaction to it. I think uneducated reactions.
I think it's because like they are not there to help us. They're there to keep the power structure, the economic structure, the distribution of wealth the way it is right now, whatever that might be. So it's not to help like drug addicts. It's to make sure that there's like a bottom so that people can fall out. So that too many of them aren't asking like, how can we make it better or whatever. But yeah, I think that's why there's so many shitty things in this society, is because we're not trying to make it better. We're trying to keep it the same. Whatever it takes.
No, that is very true. There's a lot of opportunity for improvement, and every time people try to do it, it's like swept away or is hamstrung. You look at things like the automotive industry in America, and there should be like some sort of train system like they have in Europe that would make everything like better, but the plane system and the automotive industry won't let that happen.
Yeah, it's like they already got it figured out, so they're like, let's not change it.
Yeah, well, we know how to make a ton of money off of this, and we have these systems by the balls. That's why I think one of my buddies said, we were talking about AI, and you know how like Elon and a bunch of these like big rich tech people said a little while ago, oh, we need to put a 6-month hold on AI. And then they didn't, obviously. But my buddy was like, well, they probably want to do that because they don't know how to profit off of this yet. If they knew how to make money off of AI and they could implement all those systems already, they'd be like, yeah, we need to push this forward even faster. This is the future. But they want to put a hold on it so that they can monopolize it, and then other people can't use it to get ahead.
Yeah. That's their only interest is in preserving their wealth.
Yeah. Which is like, fucking, what is the point? What do they need it for? What is the... What is it? Is there something I don't know? Is there something that I don't know? Is the world actually going to end and these people are trying to preserve their bloodlines and these secret pods or something?
Yeah, it's some ancient fucking mechanism. It's like our desire to procreate. It's like an amoeba in us, and they accentuate it. And it's like, this is the one part of the human experience that we could accentuate. And the people that do will get risen to the top, but that's not healthy.
Yeah.
It's just one way of being that we reward for whatever reason.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it doesn't make any sense, and I don't find it to be very valuable to only chase the dollar. Throughout, we're both doing comedy. I never started doing stand up to chase the dollar. I started doing when I moved to Toronto. I was homeless at first. I stayed in a youth shelter for the first 6 months so I could go out and do shows and grind mics and start doing comedy.
Wow.
But I did it because it gave me purpose and something that I love doing, and
Yeah, that's all we need.
Yeah.
And so many people don't have it. We make sure they don't have it.
Yeah.
We make sure they do stupid shit with their life so they don't have any purpose and they can't change anything.
And it's back on the universal basic income thing. It's like, how much could people accomplish if they didn't have to spend their times doing the most boring, menial, low value things? Like someone who's running McDonald's, not to shit on a person who's running a McDonald's, but if that's not what they love to do, but they're doing it because that gets them by, and they do it amazing. What if they're there was that Patton Oswalt's wife who they caught the Golden State Killer through mind shares of people sharing information on all this kind of stuff. Yeah, they tracked this guy down, something the police could never do. They found out who it was, and they caught this guy.
Is he in jail or?
Yeah, he's in jail now. He might have died in jail. He was old when they finally caught him. But what could people accomplish?
Right, if they were freed.
If they were freed, all these things would be who knows what people would be developing, solving puzzles, problems.
But that's why they don't do it. It's because they don't want that. They don't want us solving shit. Because once you start solving shit, you fix what's around you, and that would ruin who's on top. So as soon as you get on top, you just try to keep yourself there.
It's what are they even doing up there, man? What are they even doing other than trying to keep us down? It's we're not trying to fucking ruin your lives. We're trying to make everyone's life better.
It's just they're not even conscious beings almost. They're part of it. They're swept up in it. Because if they're not psychopathic, then someone else is, and they're going to take the position.
Yeah.
And it's just a mountain of House of Cards.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it tumbles down.
Yeah.
I part of me thinks that the only way that you could do it is you gotta just start chopping heads off. You gotta drag some billionaire into the street and chop his head off on a live stream. And
it's so fucked up, but with only a couple well-placed bullets, you could fix the world.
You could do a real good job, man. Yeah, it's the heads of pharmaceutical companies and these different things. We just and did it publicly. They'd be crazy. Yeah.
Well, I think we're doing it in a less violent way right now through slowly changing people's minds and being hey, this game is not worth playing.
Yeah.
So if everyone in if 40% in our generation, 50, 60 soon, is going to turn it around.
Hopefully, fingers crossed on that, and that we can get to something that's a little bit cleaner and safer, and so everyone can just live. There's no reason there should be any homeless person in America, whether even if they have a severe psychological disorder and they have no family, they should have access to some sort of institution that takes care of them, because that is the only option. There needs to be social services on that level.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be a question all across America with the amount of wealth that's here.
Yeah, we just don't want to take care of ourselves, and then we don't treat each other very well, and then we do mass shootings.
Yeah, and I think that there is that individualism that is ripe in America that causes people to be not as, inclusive, or not as accepting, or more scared of the outside forces. The amount of, not even just the mass shootings, but there was 4 shootings in a row where that kid who like knocked on someone's door and the guy shot him in the face.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? Someone knocks on your door and you feel like you need to shoot them? That's insane. What is going on in your life where you feel like you need to shoot just don't open the door? Have we thought about that?
Yeah, he's like, you came on my property, that now I get to do whatever I want on here.
Yeah, and it's like, no, it's a human being. There was a guy, I think it was in Texas. There was a guy who some dude tricked him. He charged him $40 for parking at a restaurant, and there was no charge for the parking. So some guy was just scamming people. He went out in his car, got a gun, and then shot the guy and killed him. And then he was on a date, and then went back on the date. Like told the girl, like, hey, just wait here. I'm just gonna go check.
Yeah, it's like your honor is everything. You got to protect your reputation. If someone cheats you, then you got to murder them.
It's like, bro, is it you killed a person over $40, and also it's like, doesn't that attest to like your insecurity or the fragileness of your ego that you couldn't handle losing $40, or the idea that someone could trick you, so you have to murder them?
It's the wrong way to think about social modern life. You can't have like a fucking caveman attitude, and it's like, so many people are like praising like just being like an idiot, and it's like, hey, this is not a alpha way to function in a modern society, and it's just like nobody's like making that cool.
And an alpha way to function in that response would be to be like, that's actually hilarious, I got tricked, fucking, and not give a fuck about it. To be like, $40 doesn't mean anything to me, I can totally brush that off, I fucking don't give a shit, and just move on to the next thing. That would be a more fucking secure response to something like that, rather than feeling the need to kill someone who tricked you. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, it just shows a lack of knowing who you are, who other people are, and it's like you don't care about anyone else. It's psychopathy.
Yeah, no, I think it's a completely unhealthy way to think. Which, I mean, I don't know if like social media and all this stuff, people connecting through that helps or doesn't help with that. But
yeah, I think we're not in a very healthy society, which is good because, you know, there's a lot of shit to make fun of and stuff.
Yeah, it's good for comedy.
Yeah, but it's bad because it's like, this is not the behavior of. Imagine how much less stress there'd be if we lived in a society that had its shit figured out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like being with a teenager.
Yeah, there's some famous study about IQ where I wish I knew the exact things on this, but it was a village somewhere, I want to say in South America, where their whole livelihood is based off of one crop. And they tested people in the village. They tested their IQ right before the crop was taken. So like when they're at their poorest, like they're like, oh shit, if this crop doesn't come through, we're gonna have nothing all year. And right after the crop was taken, so when they're at their richest. And there was like an 11-point difference in IQ. Because when you're under that much stress, that financial stress constantly on your back, it literally makes you dumber. And then they also did tests on obese kids, and they found that obese kids had a brain that was on average 10% smaller. And then you have people who are on opioids and all these different pharmaceutical drugs that are tested kind of, and then sometimes someone's on the wrong medication mix and it fucks with their head. And then you add in shitty diet, high fructose corn syrup, fucking too much shitty carbohydrates pumped into everyone. And then you show them stressful shit on TV constantly, and then you give them a gun. It's like, yeah, of course people are snapping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we're not taking care of people, and so they're going crazy. It's like, if you want everyone to get along, then just give them like the basics to survive. Like it's not only like fucking unfair, it's not even efficient.
Yeah,
a way to have society. Like, I don't know. It's just like you're just making people collide into each other, and yes, I don't know. I think a lot of people are like, oh, I have what I need. I have an iPhone. I have a nice house. Like, why should I ask for more? But it's like, how much are you getting cheated out of?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost that much to keep a person alive, and you're working 40 hours a week, every week for the rest of your life, and you're not getting what you deserve. You could have so much more, and you're just happy with what you got. Like, there's someone that's fucking you, and like everyone knows this, and people don't work well when they know they're getting fucked with.
Yeah, true. People don't like feeling like they got fucked.
And the people that do work well are idiots that work well in a system where they're being exploited.
Yeah.
So then you're just rewarding these brown nosing idiots who don't really know what's going on, and anyone who is like aware is punished because of their awareness. So that you're all like diatribing on Facebook and shit. But I think I think if you have like a just society and like people work and know they're not getting exploited too bad, then I think like we could do way better, and everyone would be more at ease, and there'd be less fucking people on the road just yelling at you and shit.
Yeah, 100%. I think you start to calm down your population because they're like what you said, like people getting fucked out of every corner. Like I find it so irritating how often I have to like look at labels and then put something back because there's a whole bunch of fucking garbage in the food. How like I can't trust the fruit or I can't trust the meat. How like everyone was eating like grass-fed beef. It's like, okay, that's good. And then you find out that some grass-fed beef is finished with grains that are all full of a whole bunch of garbage. So then you need grass-finished beef, which is even more expensive. And you find out that like some produce is like overpriced and they're increasing the price on it just based on name and like because the like say if you get something that is like gluten-free, like a gluten-free product is now more expensive when it was always gluten-free, but they put gluten-free on the label and then increase the price because they know they can, so they can fuck you that way. It's like, how many fucking ways are you trying to fuck me every fucking day, dude? Get like seriously.
And you have no time to do anything else. You can't like fucking have a small business and also like, you know, figure out your life if you're like growing up in the ghetto or something.
Exactly. If you're like fighting for each meal and then you're also trying to like get whatever money you can, and then every one of these businesses and like fucking
they're trying to take every dime and nickel from you, and it's like, this is what happens when you have a society that doesn't care about itself.
Yeah,
it's not a functional way to be. Like nobody should be like having to fight off the country that they live in.
Exactly. And like constantly concerned with how they're getting ripped off. Like constantly.
Yeah, well, that's why like the guy that got cheated out of $40, like maybe he did have a bad day. He has nothing else. He lives with his mom.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he works as an Uber driver. So like $40, that's like a big deal to him. And like the outrage of it is like maybe anyone in that situation would do that.
Yeah, and it's like you've backed this guy into a corner where now he's psychologically fragile, and he snaps, and he goes and grabs a gun and shoots a guy over $40.
Yeah, like that Sam Harris idea that every crime can be predicted, like it's just all cause and effect. So like punishing people for their crime is like, you know, punishing a computer program for running a program that you already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't we do that thing where we like, you know, predict like what will create a criminal and then do the opposite of that. And then anyone who does commit a crime after that, then you can like do American style justice, throw away the keys type justice to them because they sort of deserve it. But right now you can't just like, you know, not do any mitigating you know, things and then be surprised that people are committing crimes.
Exactly. Like you force people to grow up in a ghetto and have like no opportunity to get like a property or some sort of health care or anything like that, or even like a decent job. But you still got to be alive. And then they're worried about the violence that's in their neighborhood. So they have to protect themselves and get guns and get these different things and then do things to survive. And because they have no access to a job that will allow them a livable wage, they turn to crime because it's the only thing that allows them to get something where they can live. And it's what's everything around them because that's what the whole neighborhood has resorted to because you force these people into that situation. And you go like, oh my God, like how could they be doing this? One of my buddies calls it, like there's the classic like political playbook where you like constantly defund something, where you hear like you defund like schools and fucking whatever hospitals, communities, community centers. Go, it's not working. It's like, yeah, you took away everything that it needed to work, and then you say that it's not working. And what did you do with that money? You put it in your fucking pocket.
Yeah, I think like with the whole school or the thing about that. I don't know. I was just trying to remember what I was gonna say, but I got a little high and I was also just trying to listen.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, I'm such a good listener. I forget what I have to say.
No, that's good. That's good. Do you think that it'll resort to violence though? Do you think that we're eventually just gonna be like burning down buildings in the street? Because that seems like the quickest way to some sort of result.
I think that we are gonna fizzle out, hopefully. But yeah, I don't think it has to resort to violence. I think it's pretty easy to figure out what we have to do, and I think everyone would be happier if we just fucking sort of ran our country like Sim City. Just
Yeah.
get AI to do it. But yeah, I think what I was gonna say about the gangster thing in the suburbs is like, or the slums is like, there is value in people, like human resources, and to not see that value and to pass up on it, it just gives like gangsters the opportunity to utilize that. Like
Yeah.
there is such beauty and you know, like power in the ghetto, and that the gang is one way to do it. Like how can they be extracting wealth? I guess.
Exactly. They're resourceful. These are smart, resourceful people.
Yeah.
They're just using the tools that they were given.
Yeah.
And it's like you give them a different opportunity and a different.
I would do that if I had a choice when I was 22 between being an Uber driver for the rest of my life or like being a person in my community that has, you know, stature and like, you know, is respected.
Yeah.
Like why would I be an Uber driver? Like you're making that choice so unattractive.
Well, you look at it's the same thing with like the OnlyFans thing. Like if the smarter economics decision based off, like if we remove any sort of social stigma, if you're a girl fresh out of college, you have a degree, you're in debt, your job pays you barely anything, and you can take your shirt off and make 10, 20, 30, maybe even $1 million a year, like fucking what's the like economically, what's the smarter decision to make right now?
Yeah, how good is that Christian repression gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and we're also going through all these questions of like, what is sexuality? What is like, whose values are these in terms of how you can express yourself sexually? Is it wrong? Is it right? Blah blah blah. But just based off of like an economic situation, it's like, it's way smarter to be a young chick, go on OnlyFans, make like, it's not unreasonable to be making $10,000 to $20,000 a month and build up your wealth and then buy a piece of property, invest, and like keep doing that. And by the time you're 30, you can be retired rather than working and they go, oh, it's degrading or it's fucking wrong. It's like, is it more degrading than working a fucking 40-hour 9 to 5 that pays you garbage money, and that's what you have to do under these fluorescent lights forever, and you get fat and sick and all this shit from working this job, and you give your life force to some other fucking person who you never fucking see and doesn't give a fuck about you? If you quit today or they had to fire you or lay you off, they would give you like fucking 2 months severance and then send you off to die. Like, what is more degrading? Is even the OnlyFans thing degrading in the first place?
Yeah.
Is that just perception of these like Christian values that are outside of our own, and might, I don't know, I've never was raised with religion in like at all.
Maybe it's like they're like, oh, you're not doing anything for society. You're not bottling, you know, toothpaste up, or like, you know, you're not hoeing this grass or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like, how are those people that actually contribute to society rewarded, like teachers?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, public servants? Like, if you're not going to reward them, then why? If you're not going to make that an attractive option, then you're just haranguing people into doing the right thing, but you're not doing the right thing by paying them enough. It's like, why don't you do the right thing by paying them enough? Or if that's not going to happen, we're just going to make money selling butthole pics to each other.
Exactly. It's not only more profitable, but the market has spoken. You've pushed these. You're like, what does the market? Well, we're all basing everything off the market. The market will speak, and then people will respond. It's like, this is what the market wants. And the market wants it a lot, and it's buying it a fucking lot. And
but don't you think that's only because we're so fucked up right now that we're like trying to like find any positive part of someone by looking at their buttholes?
It could be. It could be that. I think it's just that. I think sex work has always been there. Sex work is like it's existed. Like they call prostitution.
I think it's a beautiful thing about humans is that we love each other's bodies so much. We'll just stare at it all day.
I'm very sex positive. In all the stuff through my content. You can definitely see it. So I support anyone who wants to do whatever they want, the fuck they want with their body. I don't give a fuck, man. That's your body. You can do whatever the fuck
if we were like in the middle of World War II and there were like Nazi planes bombing us and some chick was just taking butthole pictures, I'd be pissed off. But we're not doing anything.
No.
It's better to do nothing than to help whatever this is continue doing it.
But then also you look at it, if we're same scenario, if we're in Nazi Germany, we're getting bombed, and then some chick comes in the camp, shows all the dudes her tits, we would be like, yeah, like what a huge morale boost to see those tits. That would fucking bring the boys together, those titties.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, that would definitely help morale. But isn't that funny? Like, that's all it takes for us to like
to feel
go crazy.
To feel great is just a pair of nice tits. I love it though. Boobs are great. But yeah, no, I think all of these things are a result of the last thing. It's like it's so hard to make money. Okay, well, OnlyFans is going to capitalize on this, and then you're trying to shame these people for being on OnlyFans. It's like, but that's such a fucking stupid thing to put someone in such a horrible economic situation where they can't fucking do anything, they can't afford to live, they can't afford to get groceries, and you give them an opportunity to do something with the tools that they have, and they capitalize on it. You go, oh, you're disgusting, you're less worthy, and all this stuff. It's like, fuck you. For one, they're not. They're like, we're consuming it. It's a fucking equal exchange. If you're looking at the butthole pics or you're looking at porn and then you say a porn star is less worthy, you're just as bad. You're consuming. You're part of the process, dude.
You're not even having agency in the process. You're like the one that's the bitch or the
exactly. You're the one paying for it.
Yeah.
And that's like the fucking it's the Jesus thing. The him with he without sin can cast the first stone. If you've never watched porn, you've never jerked off to any other like pics or anything, then you can shit on these girls. Then and if you've been the purest one of pure and you've never fucking done anything, then you can come forward.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is men that are jealous that women are getting attention. Like they wish they had a body that people would want it.
They could capitalize on that. I think it's insecurity as well. I think the idea, I think guys fear, even though it's not something that's necessarily happening to them directly, they fear the idea of being with a woman who is then doing that, and not even how they would feel about it, but how they would be perceived by other men. That is what they're afraid of, that insecurity of feeling like a bitch.
So they're just worried that they're going to end up with a girl like that.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I don't know.
They're trying to tame the whole gender.
Yes, exactly.
So they can feel better when they eventually get a girlfriend.
Yes, yes. And on the fucking Jesus thing, I thought it was really funny when Mr. Beast cured people from blindness and then people got mad at him for it. I was like, didn't Jesus do the exact same thing? Jesus like cured people's blindness and then they fucking staked him to a cross.
Yeah, he's like, this wasn't the most good. You could have done better with something else.
Yeah, it was that one was fucking wild. That like you cure people's blindness and they're like, oh, you're just profiting off these blind people. It's like, or what the fuck? And I just like, if you want to comment that or tweet that, you should have to donate like $100 to an organization before you're allowed to tweet that. You should have to do some good like he did before you can comment on people doing good.
Like Clippy, like looks like you're criticizing someone for not giving charity in the right way. Would you like to donate?
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't tweet this until you donate $100 to Sick Kids Foundation. Yeah.
The hypocrisy is off the charts on this tweet. Yeah. We can't send this.
That would be so funny. It's like the Black Mirror episode with like social credit, but it's like a hypocrisy meter, like how hypocritical you're being, and you got to like maintain your hypocrisy.
All the Republican senators that are grooming kids, they wouldn't be able to spread their LGBT hate.
Yeah, they're like, we can like see their hypocrisy meter going up as they're trying to spew their bullshit. Oh, that would be fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sex work is amazing. I enjoy it. I think it's like a social thing too, like the art of showing genitals. It's like it's not as easy as people think it is.
Oh, these girls are grinding, man.
Yeah. And they're like learning about people and like playing off it's like comedy sort of.
Yeah, their desires. They're finding out like what video is going to go viral, what hits, what's my niche, what do I provide?
Change my personality?
Yeah, exactly. To like appeal to the fans and everything like that. And the what they're doing, like you know Adriana Chechik, right?
I don't.
She's like one of the best of all time, like by far in terms of porn. She's like has done some of the craziest scenes, and she's like, I think of myself as an athlete because what she does with her body is crazy. Like for one, she has to be in shape constantly, but she has like all these wild injuries. She had like her brainstem was coming out a little bit in her spine because she gets fucked in pile drivers so much, and she did like a triple anal, like wild shit in porn. She did, which is like, yeah, you're not. That's not an easy day at the office to get triple analed.
I know, especially with the soft vagina.
Yeah, the soft vagina's right there, and the ass isn't made to be triple fucked.
Oh, you mean the ass?
Yeah, it was three. It was three in the ass.
Your holes.
Yeah,
your holes hurt. That would suck.
Oh yeah.
after a long day.
Dude, my holes are never in pain. I can't even imagine what that would be like.
I know, but maybe maybe she likes it. Maybe she likes it in pain. Maybe it's a good reminder. I don't know. But yeah, I think girls. She got her brainstem blown out. Some guy in the chat. But yeah, I think it's as good as any job. I don't really respect jobs that much. I think people that have this idea of jobs as official, like this is what George W. Bush wanted me to do today.
Dude, you and one of my buddies, I stream with this guy Cameron. You guys would get along a lot. He always says he's like fuck jobs because he talks about like how they're like AI and these automatic cars, they're gonna take jobs. He's like, yeah, good. Take all the jobs. Why are we doing jobs? Jobs suck.
Yeah.
The goal shouldn't be, oh, I'm working, I have a job. It should be to get away from work. That should be our goal, to fucking hang out, walk around on the fucking beach and like drink a martini, whatever, like just start a fire, hang out with your friends.
It's brainwashing. They want us to enjoy work so that we'll keep doing it for free.
Like you look at like Europeans hanging out and drinking espresso with their friends and like fucking having a glass of wine in the middle of the day and just like chilling out. It's like, that's fucking, it should be, I'm not saying what they're doing over there is perfect, but we should be closer to that. We shouldn't be moving further away where it's like, you got to be working the 12-hour day. I've been working 18-hour days for 5 years. It's like, what the fuck? That's not good. That's not a good way to spend your fucking life.
If you are doing it, it should be like this, podcasting or something like
going
natural.
around doing fucking like when I do spots all night, it's fucking great. I bounce from show to show to show. You hang out with your buddies.
You're doing something.
Yeah, you write a new joke, you try it out, you feel fucking great from it. You talk shit with your friends. You have a fucking tequila soda, and then you I don't know, a slice of late night pizza.
But their whole life is like misery, and they're like, I'm good at being miserable, and that's the only skill that you should test for.
Oh, dude, and that's fucking horrible. Like, have you worked an office job?
A little bit.
It's fucking trash. Like, the best part of the office job is the people in the office, hanging out with them,
socializing. You
can
feel your brain just fucking shriveling. There's like no stimulation. You can't have outbursts. You're just stuck in this little pasty, pastel colored building, and
that's just the worst. The colors are some of the worst fucking parts of it. I grew up in the suburbs, and that's like my least favorite fucking part of that shit. The office buildings, that like weird gray, brown, beige that's on fucking everything. It's such a shitty look. It looks just like where dreams come to die, like mediocrity embodied in construction. It fucking looks horrible. I hate it.
Yeah, and to some people, it's comfort. They're like, finally, no horrible colors and no
expression,
horrible thoughts. Yeah,
no expression, no individuality, no
oatmeal of buildings.
Yeah, oh, exactly. That's fucking the best way to put it. The oatmeal of buildings.
Yeah, it's just gonna kill any sort of stimulation. It's just gonna make you fucking dead. And they're trying to neuter you.
Yeah, exactly. They are trying to neuter you, like neuter your spirit.
Yeah,
that's why like the city is great because it's like so much competition, so much interaction, so much motivation. There people go there with dreams. People go there to fucking get things done and to meet new people and to experience new things and different food, different music, different lifestyles. Like that's what the city is great for. But then also on the other end, when you have like country living like in the middle of nowhere, there's more of a sense of community. You know your neighbors. You say good morning to people. There's you care about people when you know all the people you live around. And there's obviously downsides to either side. There can be like too much anonymity in the city, and sometimes you can feel very alone even with all those people around you. And then you can also have like no anonymity in the country and having everyone in your business. But in the middle, when you get to the suburbs, it's like nothing. It's like high school never died. You have all these people that are like bitching about you and fucking talking about you behind your back.
Yeah, you're not colliding into each other. You're like, if you want to meet someone, you have to make an effort, and it's like there's no natural organic meetings anymore.
No, you like live in your box, your little box that's on your little box lot, and then you drive to your box and you do your things in your box, and then you're not allowed to leave your box and talk to your neighbor or else you get in trouble. And then you drive back to this other box where it's like fucking it's Costco and it's all that shit, and you're doing all the shit there, and you don't talk to the people there. You don't strike up random conversations because you would be considered weird and be a social faux pas. Whereas like you don't have that on the other ends of the spectrum. That middle fucking milk toast, whatever the fuck it is in the middle, it's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, that was a long rant.
No,
I don't like the suburbs, basically, at the end of the day.
Like you don't get any of the positives or the negatives of either, or you get only the negatives of Both.
of each side, and
Yeah.
with a false sense of security is what you get out of it. It's like people, it's just like living in some weird fear of what your neighbors are doing or what could possibly happen to you, of how much money you're gonna make, and just like fucking rotting.
Yeah, anything creative or good about you is abandoned in the middle of a giant lot. Like,
Yeah.
you can't express yourself or impact anyone, and we need each other, and these people don't have anyone.
Yeah, and you would exhaust yourself for some organization that doesn't give two shits about you, and then when you get home, you have no energy left to do anything that's like substantial or motivating or inspiring, and so you spend that time, I don't know, like fucking scrolling on the internet or watching Big Bang Theory. You're filling the void with something so you can just like turn your brain off for a moment and have some peace before you got to go back.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's the life that most of the people live, actually.
Yeah, no, and it's not exciting. It's not exciting to live.
I wonder if it's a little glitchy, I think.
Oh, are we getting are we a little glitched out? Or we are a little glitched out.
Oh, well, maybe it's more audio. I tried this new setting.
Are they, what's the chat saying? Are they?
They were saying it was glitchy, and then I sort of ignored them.
Yeah, I know. I do that with the chat all the time. You're like, we'll see, guys. Let us know in a moment if it's still like that.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, I think it's pretty crazy, the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good that I'm still allowed to do whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah. No, it's good to feel like you've escaped it. You're outside that bubble of, I don't know, constant dredge, and you can focus on other things. Like I said, I've never ever tried to chase money. That's never been the focus. The focus has always been like, have fun first, enjoy your life first, and that's evolved as I've gotten older. Like, yeah, it's like when I was younger, it's like maybe like party and drink a little bit too much, and it's like now it's like, oh, well, who are my real friends? Spend more time with your friends, spend more time with your family, build honest connections with people. Like, yeah, still stand up always brought me joy. Video games always brought me joy. Like fucking fitness, these things. Make sure these are like baselines of your life, and you can.
Right.
As long as those things are constantly in your life, you'll feel happy. Everything else around that's noise. And I've always been very simplistic with how I view things. Like they're
Just follow your bliss.
yeah, follow your bliss. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in things that seem exciting or beneficial, but it's really like just a sophisticated glaze poured over something that's like boring and.
It's so interesting to see what other people occupy their lives with, like what kind of MLM schemes that they're into and what they think a real life is. It's like, oh, I can see from what you're interested in that you might actually be into like surfing or something real.
Yes.
That people are actually into.
Yeah. And gives you like some sort of sense of growth and exercise and stability and tactile stuff, splashing in the water, falling off your board, like being alive and present. I look at something like really, really fancy restaurants. Like you spend like thousands of dollars for like a meal and they do some weird shit and you eat it and you're like, okay, is it maybe it's really good or maybe it's good. But then if you go to like some sandwich shop on fucking 6th Street and you're like, yo, this place is fucking bomb. And it's just some fucking little greasy diner or some fucking burger place or whatever. And you're like, oh, this place rules. It's like, why did we need to put this giant fucking glaze of importance on this thing then make it seem like it was grandiose when it's like you get the same experience that's maybe better somewhere else. Like one of my buddies, and he's very fucking right about this, we would go up to his cottage and there was like 10 of us. We're all comics. We would go up there, we'd do mushrooms, we'd go on hikes, and then we would just like laugh and shoot the shit. And we do that for like 4 days, and it's so fucking fun. It's so fun. And that whole weekend probably cost like $200. And I spent a lot of money on a lot of different things and gone and tried different stuff. And you go to fucking Disneyland or you go to fucking wherever, you get tickets to a thing on New Year's Eve and go to a club. And I don't know if I can think of a thing that amounts to as much fun and as much like connection and memories as like spending the weekend at that cottage. And this is a little shit cottage where the toilet doesn't work, where you had to ride bikes down to the beach because there was a toilet, like a toilet there that we would go take shits in. Like that is what I think people lose sight of and lose connection to is what are these what is actually bringing you joy, not what someone else told you is supposed to bring you joy, not what is perceived as like special or important or sophisticated. What is actually good?
They cut us off from our own ability to figure out what we like.
Yeah.
I think with school and circumcision and a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think like once you lose that connection to what brings you joy and you're totally reliant on this system, this society to fill that in for you, like, oh, this will bring you joy, then you're like, you know, you're almost irredeemably lost, because then you can just be filled in with whatever desire that other people want you to have.
I think that's a big part that comedy helps you figure out, because in order to get good at stand-up, they have like whatever, like finding your voices in quotations.
Right.
It's really just defining your sense of humor. It's like, what do I really, really find funny? And when you have like when you're really in tune with what you find funny, you like every movie I watch, show I watch, experience I have, how I talk to people, all of that can go through the filter of what I find funny. And I have a really good sense of what I like. And from there, you start to span off into what other things you like. Okay, well, I understand what it feels like to truly enjoy something funny. Okay, what does it mean to truly enjoy food? What does it mean to truly enjoy exercise? And all these things, what are these experiences that I want to like in the moment feel in my body, and I can cut out the noise around it. Like I can work out better, I can eat better, I can sleep better, I can have better relationships with my friends and family because I have defined this thing in my life so intimately.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get the center correct, your foundation, then everything else is easier.
Yeah.
That's what like the show Barry's about. It's like the same thing, but with acting. Like, what are you feeling? If you can't be honest with what you're feeling right now, then there's no basis to jump off of. Then you're just faking a fake emotion. Then it's like, yeah, it's better to know who you are and get all that shit figured out so you know what anger or sadness feels like coming through you authentically, and you can mimic it later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And be like honest with yourself, really honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's like, I think, hard for a lot of people to do, to really feel honest. And it comes through in all these different things. It comes through in like sexuality, people lying about who they find attractive or what they find attractive, or like relationships, or a status in life or how you want to live. And like people start putting all these things in front of them that they think they should have based on what other people are going to perceive of them, rather than being like, this is how I want to live. Some people want to go fucking live in the woods in a fucking hammock, but they're like, oh, but if I do that, everyone's going to think I'm poor or weird or blah, blah, blah. It's like, just go fucking do it, dude. You're going to be so unhappy not doing it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't try to live the life that everyone else is living. We already know how that turns out. We don't need more data points in that direction.
Yeah.
It's 6:24. Did you say you had to go?
I do have another podcast. I got to do it at 6:45. So yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for doing the podcast,
dude.
man.
Thank you, man. This has been great.
Yeah, thanks for coming around.
Yeah, no, I had a good time. I'll do a quick plug. I didn't even say my name. I'm Che Durena. You can catch me on all platforms at Che Durena, CHEDURENA, on Twitch and Kick at Little Dinky News, and CheDurena.com for all tour dates. I'm going to be in Oklahoma in July and Austin in September, and then Raleigh also in September. And that's all.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming.
Thanks. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.